The history of Ukraine from early settlements to a modern state. Ukraine, situated in Eastern Europe, has a rich and complex history shaped by its strategic location at the crossroads of major civilizations and empires. Its history is marked by periods of flourishing cultural development, foreign domination, and a relentless quest for sovereignty and national identity. From ancient times to its modern status as an independent nation, Ukraine's historical journey reflects its enduring resilience and unique cultural heritage. Ancient and medieval origins. The territory of modern Ukraine has been inhabited since prehistoric times. Evidence of early human activity dates back to the Paleolithic era, with archaeological sites revealing the presence of hunter-gatherer societies. By the 4th millennium BC, the Tripolian culture emerged, characterized by its advanced agricultural practices and large, organized settlements. In the 1st millennium BC, the region became part of the Scythian and later the Sarmatian kingdoms, which were known for their equestrian culture and interactions with neighboring civilizations. The Greek colonists established trading posts along the Black Sea coast, such as Olbia and Kassanesis, which facilitated cultural and economic exchanges with the Scythians. By the 3rd century CE, the territory came under the influence of the Gothic and Hunnic invasions. The arrival of the Slavic tribes in the 6th century CE marked the beginning of the region's transition to medieval history. The Kievan Rus era. The medieval period saw the rise of the Kievan Rus, a powerful state that emerged in the 9th century CE. Founded by Vikings known as the Varangians, the state was centered around the city of Kiev. The Kievan Rus reached its zenith under the rule of Yaroslav the Wise 1019 to 1054, who established a sophisticated political and legal system, promoted cultural development, and fostered strong trade relationships with Byzantium and Western Europe. During this period, the Kievan Rus adopted Christianity from Byzantium in 988 CE, which had a profound impact on the region's culture, art, and architecture. The Orthodox Church became a central institution, shaping the spiritual and cultural life of the Kievan Rus. However, the Kievan Rus began to decline in the 12th century due to internal conflicts and external pressures, including invasions by the Mongols. The Mongol invasion in the 13th century led to the fragmentation of the Kievan Rus into smaller principalities. Lithuanian and Polish influence. In the late 14th century, the territories of modern Ukraine came under the control of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and later, the Kingdom of Poland. The Union of Lublin in 1569 formalized the union between Poland and Lithuania, creating the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. During this period, Ukraine experienced significant cultural and political changes. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth imposed its administrative and social systems on Ukraine, which led to tensions and conflicts. The Cossack uprisings, notably the Khmelnytsky Uprising of 1648, were driven by grievances against Polish rule and a desire for greater autonomy. The uprising, led by Bogdan Khmelnytsky, resulted in the establishment of the Cossack Hetmanate, a semi-autonomous state within the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Russian and Austrian rule. The late 17th and early 18th centuries saw the rise of Russian influence in Ukraine. The Treaty of Andrusovo 1667 divided Ukraine along the Dnieper River, with the left bank coming under Russian control and the right bank remaining part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Over time, Russia extended its influence over the Cossack Hetmanate, leading to the eventual incorporation of Ukraine into the Russian Empire. In the western part of Ukraine, the Austrian Empire gained control of territories such as Galicia and Bukovina following the first partition of Poland in 1772 and subsequent partitions. Austrian rule brought administrative reforms and a degree of modernization, but also faced resistance from Ukrainian nationalists. The 19th and early 20th centuries. The 19th century was a period of significant cultural and political development for Ukraine. The Ukrainian national movement gained momentum, with figures like Taras Shevchenko and Ivan Franko playing crucial roles in promoting Ukrainian language, literature, and national identity. The early 20th century was marked by dramatic political changes. The collapse of the Russian Empire during World War I led to the brief establishment of the Ukrainian People's Republic in 1917, which sought to assert Ukrainian independence. However, the ensuing Russian Civil War and the subsequent rise of the Soviet Union led to the reassertion of Soviet control over Ukraine. Soviet Ukraine, 1920s–1980s. Under Soviet rule, Ukraine underwent significant social, economic, and political changes. The Soviet government implemented policies that included collectivization of agriculture and the establishment of large state-run farms. These policies, however, led to severe consequences, including the Holodomor, a man-made famine in the early 1930s that resulted in millions of deaths. During World War II, Ukraine was a major battleground, with the Soviet Union's western regions suffering extensive damage and loss of life. The war also saw significant resistance from Ukrainian nationalist groups against both the Nazis and the Soviet authorities. Post-war Ukraine was subject to Soviet policies aimed at suppressing Ukrainian culture and enforcing Soviet ideology. The Soviet government promoted industrialization and urbanization but also repressed political dissent and cultural expression. Independence and modern era. The late 1980s and early 1990s marked a period of profound change for Ukraine. The Soviet Union began to experience political and economic crises, leading to growing demands for independence among Soviet republics. On August 24, 1991, Ukraine declared its independence, following a failed coup attempt in Moscow and widespread support for sovereignty. Ukraine's independence was officially recognized by the international community, and the country embarked on a transition to a market economy and democratic governance. The 1990s and early 2000s were marked by economic challenges, political instability, and efforts to establish a stable democratic system. In 2004, the Orange Revolution erupted in response to allegations of electoral fraud in the presidential elections. The peaceful protests led to a rerun of the elections and the election of pro-democracy candidate Viktor Yushchenko. The 2010s saw increased political turmoil, with Euromaidan protests in 2013–2014 demanding closer ties with the European Union and an end to corruption. The protests led to the ousting of President Viktor Yanukovych and the establishment of a pro-European government. This period also saw the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 and ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine with Russian-backed separatists. Recent developments. In recent years, Ukraine has continued to face challenges related to its geopolitical situation, economic development, and domestic reforms. The ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea remain significant issues, with international efforts to resolve the conflict and support Ukraine's sovereignty. Despite these challenges, Ukraine has made progress in various areas, including political reforms, economic modernization, and strengthening its democratic institutions. The country continues to seek closer integration with the European Union and aims to enhance its role on the global stage. Conclusion. Ukraine's history is a tapestry of diverse influences and experiences, reflecting its unique position at the crossroads of Eastern Europe. From ancient civilizations to modern independence, Ukraine's journey has been marked by periods of cultural flourishing, foreign domination, and a relentless pursuit of national identity and sovereignty. Today, Ukraine stands as a resilient and dynamic nation, navigating the complexities of its historical legacy while shaping its future as an independent state.